Welcome to Seize the Mains by Raj Malhotra's IAS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and this is Season 3 of our Daily Answer Writing Initiative. This initiative runs from Monday to Saturday at 9 pm. We see what is going on in current affairs and what are the potential topics that from where you can see directly questions in your UPSC mains examination, in your civil services mains examination, not just UPSC but state civil services also. So we frame questions out of there. Monday to Saturday at 9 pm we discuss a question and a model answer for those questions. We teach you how to approach answer writing, we tell you how to write good answers and what should the structuring of a good answer look like. Also, not just this video discussion, we have this website running, this main answer writing section. So all the content that we discuss here on Seize the Mains that gets updated here, that gets updated in a very sorted basis. There is this subject wise categories also according to GS papers, and the subject wise category that you can see here, we have environment and ecology, science and technology, all the subjects that you need for your civil services exam. So if there is just one particular subject you are looking for, just click here and you will see all the questions that have been discussed with regards to that particular subject. So yes, let's look at the question for today. But before that, let me tell you, under each and every answer there is this comment section. This is entirely dedicated to you. If you are trying to practice answer writing, you can do that free of cost with our team. Just write your answers and post them on the website. Post the pictures of your answers on the website. Our team looks at those questions, they read it from line to line and they give back their feedback on your answers entirely free of cost. They give you marks out of 15 or 10, whatever is the marking is, and they also give you a very elaborate feedback that where you need to improve, what is something that you can do better with your answers, what are your strengths. So yes, that's how Seize the Mains initiative is running. It's been more than a year that Seize the Mains has been running. The topic for today is India-Japan defense ties. So yes, India-Japan recent military exercise, it was recently in news. So yes, defense ties, that is something that we'll be focusing with regards to India and Japan today. So let's look at the question. India-Japan relations have evolved positively over time, especially with regards to defense and security. Explain. Answer in 250 words. So just look at this question, try to understand the content. First of all, they say India-Japan relations have evolved positively over time, especially with regards to defense and security. So the basic subject, the main subject of the question is relations with regards to defense and security, relations of India and Japan with regards to defense and security. That is something you have to explain, that how have they evolved positively, what is it that both countries are doing for this positive relationship. Make sure your answer is updated with all the current affairs, all the current news, otherwise it will become very redundant. So that's what we are here for. Let's start with an introduction. Let's talk about the historical relationship. Let's write one line between India and Japan's historical relationship, and then we'll bring it down to the to 2023, that what is the relationship now. So ever since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1952, we all know that World War II, it ended with two nuclear bomb explosions on Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After that, Japan needed to recover. So 1952, India and Japan basically they established diplomatic relations. After that, what happened? Japan needed to recover. So India's iron ore was helping Japan a lot, and on the other hand, Japan was extending loans to India. So yes, that's how it went on. But again, we cannot go into much detail. What we'll write is that yes, cordial relations have been there, but when were they established? The first time diplomatic relationship between these two countries, that was established in 1952. And then we'll talk about the recent initiatives. Yes, there have been many milestones over the since 1952 that have been achieved, but it's very important that you talk about the recent initiatives. And when I say recent initiatives, not just the initiatives of the previous year or previous 2 years since the time you have been preparing. Talk about this government. This government has been in power since 2014, and the strategy of this government, or the vision of this government regarding some countries, it has been the same. So Japan was the first country that our current PM Narendra Modi, when he came to power, he interacted with. Japan was the first country that he visited. So in September 2014, basically it was a game changing for India and Japan relations. In September 2014, the leaders of both nations had a summit meeting. They concurred to upgrade the bilateral relationship to special strategic and global partnership. This was never seen before. So yes, and here they basically dedicated themselves into a deep, broad-based and action-oriented partnership between the two countries, which reflects a broad convergence of their long-term political, economic and strategic goals. If you're aware, this nuclear deal between India and Japan, cooperation between India and Japan in terms of nuclear fuel, that was signed in 2016, and Japan had never signed such a deal with any country which was not a member of NSG. India was the first country that time. So that could happen only because of this special strategic and global partnership. That was, and to take this further, to take this special strategic and global partnership, there is this Vision 2025 Vision 2025 document. Basically, it serves as a guidepost for the new era in Japan-India relations. So basically, three lines in the introduction would suffice to sum up India-Japan relations, that yes, they have been very cordial since 1952. Now we'll straight away move on to talk about the defense and security relations. So first of all, there is this 2008 Declaration on Security, Joint Declaration on Security Cooperation between Japan and India. Very important. Note down these declarations because they add weight to your answer. The exact content might not be important, but yes, these are milestones in your international relations answer and they should be known to you. Then there are also various frameworks of security and defense dialogue between both the countries. There is the 2+2 meeting, that is a meeting between foreign ministers of both countries or external affairs minister and defense minister. Second is your annual defense ministerial dialogue and coast guard to coast guard dialogue. So three frameworks of security and defense dialogue, they are there. The third one here is your agreement between government of Japan and government of Republic of India. There was this agreement in 2020 which came into implementation in 2021. It was known as the Acquisition and Cross Servicing Agreement. So basically it was for reciprocal provision of supplies and services between the self-defense forces of Japan and Indian armed forces. So it is popularly known as ACSA or AXA agreement. So again, this is also part of our defense and security. Now there are some exercises, military exercises or tri-services exercises which are held annually or after a few years between India and Japan. Yes, you must have learnt them, you must have memorized them for your prelims, but again it is important to remember them for your mains answer because you will be quoting them there. So India-Japan participate in comprehensive tri-services exchanges resulting in regular armed forces staff talks between the two countries. Indian Navy, basically there is this GIMEX and bilateral maritime exercises, and passage exercise. Then you have multilateral exercise in the name of Malabar, where US is also a party, and Milan. Then Indian Army has this Dharma Guardian exercise, which happens annually, and 2023 it saw for the first time this Veer Guardian. Veer Guardian is for Air Force of both the nations. So 2020, this is very important for your prelims as well. So 2023 saw the inaugural Veer Guardian involving precise planning and skillful execution by the Air Forces of India and Japan. So this was about the exercises. We've covered the treaty, we've covered the dialogues or meetings that are held, we've covered the latest agreement between the armies or defense forces of both the nations, we've covered exercises. Now your geopolitics also forms a part of security, especially when we are talking about Indo-Pacific and muscle flexing by China. So yes, Indo-Pacific was not it wasn't hyphened, Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, it wasn't referred to as Indo-Pacific earlier. It was in 2007 when late Mr. Shinzo Abe, who was the former Prime Minister of Japan, he visited India, and in his famous speech, this was known as the Confluence of Two Seas speech. Confluence of Two Seas means here the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So hyphenation of Indo-Pacific took place, Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, then it came to be known as the Indo-Pacific. So he was stressing on importance of these two seas, and now if you see in the previous 4 or 5 years, all these Western nations or the developed world, to counter the growth of China, to counter the power of China, they are focusing on this Indo-Pacific region, and everybody wants free and open Indo-Pacific. So your Quad grouping was formed with concerns with regards to Indo-Pacific only. So again, major countries, also India included, they are involved there. So again, Indo-Pacific is important when it comes to India-Japan relations. So the concept of free and open Indo-Pacific has now become mainstream and one of the main pillars of India-Japan ties. So what India and Japan are now doing, they have also formed the Act East Forum, and they're also engaged in many projects in the northeast because China has a lot of, China wants to establish control there. It's closely watched by China. The two countries also plan to launch joint projects in countries where China already had projects, for example in Maldives and Sri Lanka, to counter Beijing's or China's influence. Then seventh, or the last point, is that you're talking about Quad, basically Japan's initiative in Indo-Pacific. For example, this Indo-Pacific region, for example the Quad, they have broken down the perception for other countries that Asia is led by one leader, and that is China, because Japan has also, Japan is also a befitting leader there. So yes, so Asia is not Sino-centric or China-centric there. So that is what the role your Japan has to play there. In the conclusion, obviously just conclude by saying that yes, the relations are cordial, but again you cannot write very simple stuff there. You need to add some information and conclude it in a very positive note. So the relationship between both countries grew and encompassed issues from civilian nuclear energy, very important to mention when it comes to India-Japan relations, to maritime security, bullet trains, very important here, to quality infrastructure, Act East policy, to Indo-Pacific strategy. Basically, here you are summing up all the important details of Indo-Japan relations. Had this been a question about Indo-Japan relations generally, then these are the points that you would have written there. So now we are summing up all the relations, all the kind of relationship that India and Japan share here itself. So India has long backed or long supported Japan's leadership role in Asia, and both the nations have an active role to play in deciding the future global order, which is the need of the hour. We need new leaders, we need a better, more stable global order, we need better organizations, we need better multilateral forums. Best example here is the UN Security Council. India and Japan are both a member of G4. They form the G4, and G4 is the club basically who are contesting for more permanent seats in Security Council. They want the constitution of Security Council, that your P5 nations, they should not have the exclusive right to veto and other powers. So basically both the countries are part of G4, so they hold immense importance with regards to reforms in Security Council, or deciding the future global order, achieving sustainable development goals, fighting against climate change, because both the countries are members of your ISA, International Solar Alliance, as well, and fighting against your nuclear weapons. The nuclear arsenal is growing up, especially after the Russia-Ukraine war, and Japan and India are both against amassing weapons. We amass weapons just for deterrence, and Japan, since it has it has the history of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so it is always against amassing nuclear weapons. So again, or in resolving international conflicts. So both countries have a huge potential. When they come together, they can shift the reality to a more positive world. So that's your entire content for the day. Look for question 197 on our website for this content that has been discussed. rajaiasacademy.com, that is our website. The link is present in the description. Click on it. It will take you to our website, which looks like this. There is this mains answer writing section. Click there and you will see the list of questions. The latest question is question 197. Check it, it has been updated. Look for its answer, read it out, and then try to write your own answer and post it on our website. Get it evaluated and wait for the feedback. So that's how it works. I'll see you tomorrow with another discussion of Seize the Mains at 9 p.m. Till then, just stay tuned and all the best.